Teamwork isn't just nice to have in business, it's the undisputed competitive advantage. When your team members work as a unified force, your whole operation benefits through higher productivity, thriving creativity, and unstoppable momentum. Welcome to the Impactful Teamwork Podcast, where we share with you strategies and tactics to help you develop game-changing teams so that you and your business can make a real difference in the world. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of Impactful Teamwork. And I'm Julia Felton, and I'm going to be your host and guide and fellow explorer while we look at what it really means to build a high-performance team that performs with purpose and energy and flow. And I'm really excited because we're going to tackle a slightly different topic today to the ones that we usually do, but it's a topic that I think is really overlooked by leaders, and that is the topic of your body and how you show up in business and your personal physical and mental fitness. Because we all know, and we've been talking about for a number of episodes here, all about energy and how your energy is everything in business. Your energy impacts your team, your success. So I'm delighted to invite a guest on today, Brian Parana, who is a health and fitness expert and works with leaders to optimize their performance both inside and out. So Brian, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here. And I personally am super curious to hear what you got to say.
Oh, yes. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me, and tons of value coming your way. That's for sure.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. Because I think let's just start with the elephant in the room, right? Which is leaders are so busy nowadays.
Yes.
We've got so much. You and I both run businesses, loads and loads to do. And I'm guilty. I'll own it today. I'm guilty. Self-care, looking after myself gets quite low down my list of things.
Right.
So how do we start with just, I guess, even our mindset at the beginning about getting into high performance and almost give ourselves permission to go, it's okay to look after myself so that I can look after everyone else. I think that's a great place probably for us to start, right?
Yeah, totally. I think, what's the whole purpose of creating a business? Especially at my level, I'm a solopreneur. I have owned gyms before, but I don't have a huge team of people per se. I have delegating tasks and such. But as I grow into something different and evolve into a team and a structure and all that, the goal, regardless of how big or small the organization is, to create a lifestyle, to create money that can then foster the lifestyle that you want to live. And if you look at a business as a different way, then you might be off base, even if it being a huge multi-million or even $1 billion business. The people at the top want money to go live the lifestyle that they are find accustomed to and whatnot. That's something that we have to pay attention to. Now, when we also think about this, most businesses are concerned with providing value, right? Customer support, products, services, and delivering to the marketplace of high quality so that they can stay in business years to come and generate money to generate income and provide the lifestyle. Let's think of legacy in that, and what happens when we're done with the business and we have, say, no use for it anymore, right? We're retirement. If you make it there, it's a roll of dice anyways. Everything's trying to kill you in this world one way or another, in a sense. You said common cold's coming for you here in the next couple months, right? When you're 60, I'm glad you have so many zeros in your bank account, but you can't walk. You have type 2 diabetes. You're 40 pounds overweight. You can't lift something off the ground because your low back has been just crippled from sitting for decades and just focusing on the business in a sense. And life is a journey, not a destination. Yes, we do all want to say retire financially independent and free, but you might not make it there. And all these years you're self-sacrificing to put the business first. I think that's probably the easiest, biggest way to talk to the people listening in, because they're so driven. They're gonna stay up. They're gonna
Yeah.
get up. They're gonna do all the things and delegate and right. I
Mhm.
think that's it.
But I think sometimes it feels like spending the time, and you and I were talking off air before we came in about that slowing down. It feels having enough time to eat and stopping for lunch, or
Right.
they feel like a luxury, right? So how do we as a business owner just really get our mind into the state that this is something that I need to do in
Right.
order that my business thrives? So I'm just wondering about, you got some tips or tricks? How do we,
Yeah.
because in my diary, I start putting lunch in, right? I actually schedule
Yes.
it now.
Yes. Smart.
Do I show
Smart move.
up for it is a completely different question, but I'm at least starting on the
Yes.
journey.
You have to think of it as just yet another department in the business, right? You have
Mm,
financing, you have marketing, you have the all sorts of that, the customer service piece of it. Then, but there has to be a self-care. And to the point of
mm,
our entrepreneurs and owners, you should almost demand the culture inside your business to everyone take time out of their day to do something for themselves, pay for their gym memberships, pay for them to work out in the middle of the day. Why? Because that's the type of culture and the type of people and the type of person that you want on your team, anyways. Someone who takes care of
mhm,
themselves. Because then automatically in my brain, this person goes to lunch and works out and then comes back and is fresh, focused, and ready to put in more work. Whereas someone else who just works through lunch and we are not robots as much as AI is influencing our world. Humans need a break. I think some of our other neighboring countries have it figured out. Why don't we have a siesta? Where's our midday nap? Why do I have to work from sun up to sundown? Every opportunity my eyeballs are open, have to grind through the task list. And some of that's our own doing, or the business growth, or the responsibilities that you have put on yourself. But thinking of it as its own department is probably the easiest way. Okay, I have to, just as I have to take care of my customers, I have to take care of a quality
mm.
product or service, I have to take care of my employees, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah, and I love that analogy to you about thinking about self-care, looking after yourself as another department, because yeah, you wouldn't, we schedule time that says a leader to go out and see all the different departments. So you're seeing the
Right.
department of you, which is
Yeah.
your self-care. I love that. And I think there's something that I remember once, I think this might even be a Jim Rohn quote from way back.
Okay.
How you
Oh,
do
yeah. Yeah.
something is how you do everything, right? So
Yes,
if you're not looking after
exactly.
yourself, what does that
Right.
say about how you're looking after your customers, your other
Right.
stakeholders, your team members? And that just landed as you were saying that, because I'd never really thought about it in that way before. But when it does, it really makes so much sense. If you
Right.
can't spend enough time looking after yourself, why would you be spending enough time
Right.
looking after your team members and your,
Another example would be this: humans are very judgmental initially, right?
yeah.
It's the blink of an eye, you're getting judged up and down. You are in a room, you have two vendors, sales, marketers, whoever coming to see you, one after another. One person comes in fit and shape, looks the part, carries his energy really well, stands tall. You just notice these subtle characteristics. It's like it's generally obvious that he takes care of himself, but there's no conversation of that. It's
Yeah.
just he just looks the part, he is the part. Person number two comes in, they're overweight, they're buttons are stretched, they breathe, they take longer to respond, they just have a their volume is turned down just one click, not even not, they're
Mm,
saying the exact same things, the each person, and they have
yeah.
basically the exact same service. Which one are you going with?
Yeah.
Listen in, people. Like, which one are you going to pick? The
Yeah.
person that looks the part, that feels the part, that is has that confidence and energy in multiple different ways, not just the language or the sales tactics or the whatever. Because even in our markets today, you're differentiating by slivers because there's so much
Mm,
capacity to iterate really good products and services, and there's just a sliver of opportunity. And that could be the advantage of going with person one over person two, because they take better care of themselves. And then you subconsciously have higher respect for that person because of that.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Oh, wow. How true that is. It's, yeah, because it's your health is just a strategy, isn't it, for your business?
Yeah.
It's another strategy for your business
Yeah.
that we really need to focus on. And
Yeah.
I love that story there. Just that reminder that given a choice, we're going to resonate with somebody with a higher energy, more vibrancy.
Right.
We're going to feel like we align with them more than somebody who feels, and they might not be, but
Right.
the energy
It's
is
a
just a bit
subtle.
off. It's a bit, yeah,
Right.
very
Yep.
subtle,
Yep.
isn't it?
And at
We,
the high level that your listeners are, they notice those subtleties, right?
yeah.
They're in tune with seeking out the best value, the best person, the best
Mm,
system approach, because they've been grinding for so long and they just can look at something and tell face value
yeah.
what it is. A quick question, a story for this.
Yeah,
I had a
please.
gentleman that came and he's all right, I got to lose weight. My belly's starting to get bigger. And he was a senior data analysis engineer type. He lost about 13 pounds. We focus a lot on nutrition, a lot on doing exercise, not as much as people think. A lot of people think, oh, I sign up or work with Brian, I'm running marathons or something, or Arnold Schwarzenegger in the gym. Like, we move our bodies, but there's such a heavy focus on nutrition because that's where the biggest impact is going to be, and your energy is going to be a result. So it was about, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks in, he's down 13 pounds. He all of a sudden says, Brian, I'm looking for a job. Say, oh, okay, this is cool. When did you start thinking this? Oh, about a week or two ago. And in my brain, I've had this happen more, a significant amount, as people gain confidence, gain courage, they have better
Yeah.
energy, they can see clearly, they can start to evaluate the situations that they are in, whether they are good, indifferent, or not so good.
Mm.
And this gentleman, he ended up going through a couple different companies, interviewing. He got a lateral position, same job title, same tasks at a different company, making $65,000 more because he
Wow.
lost 13 pounds at that time that he said, hey, maybe I should go look for something better. And the grass was really greener on that aspect. And that's just one of hundreds and
Wow.
hundreds of examples where people have lost weight, felt better about themselves, have better energy, clarity, confidence to start doing bigger, better things. And if you think you're crushing it in your business, or with your family, there's still another level. There's still someone that's higher
Yeah.
than you are, right? And unless you're at the
Hmm.
very peak, the Bezos and Musks and all that, right? They're probably not listening in, but, but they're in a whole nother world. But
Yeah.
for all of us, there's always someone better doing it better, and you can still have growth. You could still double your business, even if you're making 10 million, 100 million, 500 million. You could still double your business by making small changes that start with yourself, because then it changes the mindset and the insights and the clarity and the direction. And you, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, need the vision to be able to carry that out and clearly execute it with your team, your product, your service, to
Mm.
make it world class, to then be able to double.
So what are some, because you talked a lot about nutrition. I love that.
Yeah.
The fuel for the body is the fuel for your business,
Yeah.
right? Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good line
Yeah, it
there.
is.
What are some of the most, because we like to give people lots of practical things. What are some
Yeah,
simple
totally.
things we can start doing that we might not be
Yes.
doing? Like one of them is this good old one, drinking water,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Here's mine. Here's my water. Yep.
But what are some of the practical things that people
Yeah.
can start doing to, just because we know we know in business it's that 1% shift. Often we
Yes,
think, oh,
totally.
we've got to go on this big diet, or you've got to empty my whole fridge. I've got to do everything differently. I've got to
Right.
cut out carbs and all my fat. But actually, I know what I know to be true is that one small 1% that we change then has that compound effect that makes something
Exactly.
bigger and bigger and bigger. So what are some of the few things that we can start with to give us that 1% that then encourage us and motivate us to then go further and further?
Yeah, I love it. And practical tips and tricks are the things where I thrive. Why? Because everyone's spinning too many plates as is. I don't want to
Mm.
put more plates or more things on the plates that they already have. I'm here to simplify. I'm here to pull back. You probably do the same. You take a third person perspective and say, hey,
Yep.
why are you doing this over here? And then they stop spinning that plate and realize they can just put it down. They don't need to spin it. And they might need to spin it later, but not right now. And then, oh,
Yeah.
I feel lighter. I feel that I
Yeah.
can do it. Now, everything that I'm going to share is basic. The common theme or saying is, I know what to do. I'm not doing it. Okay. The 99% of clients I ever work with all
Mhm.
know what healthy eating is, or we need to move our body. And there's this, say, a core four that we need to do. We need to drink water. Women 80 ounces, men 100 ounces or more. Does it have to be actually just water? No, I like sparkling water, not still water.
Right.
I you can do droplets to flavor it. You can put fruit or like a cucumber and get a spa-like experience or something like that. There's lots of ways to get liquid in coffee, tea that aren't drowning in calories. That's basic. That's low-hanging fruit. And if you're not doing that, you're missing out on just an apple that you can just grab off the tree and not get the ladder or the bucket and then the stretcher thing to
Yeah.
to grab the ones at the top. Number two is we have to walk. We got to move our bodies. I'm a big a fan of 10K steps a day. I think that is a good undertone of you living an active lifestyle. Whether you walk, you bike, you run, you work out, you whatever, that's a basic undertone. If we do what I would call muscle building activities, strength training of some sort. Does it need to be lifting weights like Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, no, it doesn't. But we do need to do something that you enjoy to continue doing it 2 to 3 times a week. All right. That's going to outline of just a healthy individual. Then we have getting our sleep. Ideally, at least 6 hours, but more like seven
Mhm.
is going to be helpful. And you then don't feel strung out on caffeine and stimulants all day long, crashing in the middle afternoon of the day. And then basics of the last pillar would be nutrition. There's just two
Mhm.
things in nutrition: food quality, portion control. That is
Mhm.
it. It doesn't have to be any harder than this. I spend a significant amount of time with nutrition. We'll give you some basic rundowns. Let's go with just calories. If we're in a weight loss phase, in a sense, we want to just the body's gotten away from us, like they've been hinting at
Mhm.
in this conversation, and gained a couple pounds over the years. Even if you only gain a quarter pound a week, that is 1 pound a month, that is 12 pounds a year, that is 25 ish pounds in 2 years. You are overweight, out of shape, and not happy, and none of your clothes fit. And that happened incrementally, not even 1%. A quarter of
Mhm.
a pound
Mhm.
without any
Yep.
course correction is get you at risk of diabetes, heart disease, all sorts of other unpleasant things that are going to cost you a lot of time, a lot of money. And if you are an entrepreneur and business owner, you don't want that being part of the sliver of your pie of
Yep.
expenses of, oh, time wise going to the doctor, or time wise of having to go to the pharmacy and get medication, and time wise of having to take medication, and then the cost of all that, because the time cost is the biggest significant thing. That's why I
Yeah.
started with that. But then the monetary is, wow, I'm spending hundreds of a lot. I'm spending a lot on medicine and traveling to the doctor's office, like all this stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So we go back to the general, say, in a fat loss phase or a weight loss phase. Looking, women are about 13 to 1500 calories. Some can do more, but it's very relevant on activity. Men are going to be somewhere around 1600 to 1800, but possibly more if they are active. If we add, say, 2, 3, 400 calories for a maintenance calories, so women somewhere, say, 1700 to 2000, if they are healthy, fit, and
Mm.
individuals, and they haven't sacrificed their metabolism on thousands of fad diets and yo-yo things, then
Yeah.
they might be able to eat more. Guys are going to be
Sure.
2000 to 2500 ish, and that settles that. Most people are going to eat
Mhm.
3 to 4 times a day. Okay. Whether you call it a
Mhm.
snack or brunch or late night, whatever,
Yeah.
you're literally putting food in your mouth about 3 to 4 times a day. And the basic very basic of when should I eat those meals is you look at your
Yeah.
calendar. When, literally, this is the question I ask everyone is when in the day does it make the most sense for you to eat, to put food in your
Mhm.
mouth? And then you look at your schedule and it might be varied or it might be consistent. Maybe you always have a noon lunch, or maybe sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 2. Just like everything else in life, you have to adapt to that schedule and the timing and the demands of your day and be prepared to eat food at different times of the day so that you
Yeah.
have energy, blood sugar, you can function, and you have something that's easy, enjoyable, tastes good, and can be put in your mouth in a timely amount of time. You're not sitting down for a full course meal. And then we'll do one more thing here is the last tip and trick is doing the meal design, portion control. I like to have
Okay.
what is like a PVC model or a protein, a vegetable or a fibrous carb, I call it, and then a
Right.
starchy carb. Your grandma had it right. Have 3 squares with a protein, a vegetable, and a starch 3 times a day, and you'll be just
Yeah.
fine. And let's define that a little bit. Proteins are lean proteins, low fat protein sources. Why?
Yeah.
Because fattier protein sources add lots more calories. Okay. Think of chicken breast versus fried chicken thigh. There's going to be a substantial amount of difference in calories and fat in between
Mhm.
those two same size portions. Secondly, is the vegetables, or I like to refer to them as fibrous carbs. Generally, your salad toppers, broccoli, tomato, cucumber, peppers, carrots, onions, all those type of things. You can have so
Yep.
much of those things, leafy greens, so much of those things. Have 1, 2, 3 pieces of fruit in a day. And then starchy carbs. That's where we have to start limiting portions. Women are best around, say, a half a cup, possibly upwards of 3/4 to a cup, depending on portion. And if you scoop out your rice or your beans or potatoes or oatmeal or whatever, your cereal into a measuring cup, then you'll be sad at how small it is because portions have changed, right? Visually. And then lastly, for guys, we're doing about a cup and a half per meal. And then lastly is fat. We have to, sure, we can have healthy fat in a day, but we need to limit it. We can't, it multiplies calories. There are 9 calories in a gram of fat and 4 in protein and carbs. The biggest difference is there's twice as many calories basically in a fat, serving of fat as opposed to protein and
Yeah.
carbs. So there you go. There's a quick rundown of all the things that you need to do. Hopefully you took notes or rewound and start writing again
Yeah.
because that's the basics of where I start every single person for the last 20 years. These are the basics. These are the foundations. These are
Yeah.
the things that work. Now that's simple, but it's not easy to fit
Yeah.
into the day to day. And that's where my work actually starts. It's not the information, it's the application of that
Sure.
information into someone's very busy life.
Yeah, because like you said, none of this is rocket science, and we know it. And
No, no.
there's this great Zen quote, which is to know and not to do is not yet to know. Yeah, to know and not to do is not yet to know. And I think
I
that
love
that's
that.
so applicable because there's
Yep.
so many things, and I think nutrition is one of the kind of obvious ones. I all know that
Right.
I'm meant to drink kind of them a couple of them a day.
Yep.
And if I get, you're lucky, I've got a big bottle here today. If I get through that, I'll probably be a genius. And I haven't got through one of those in a long time. And yeah, I know when I do it, and I have been disciplined in the past and
Well,
gone on some kind of eating programs,
let's
then
pin that
it makes a
word there.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, let's pin that word. Discipline,
Yeah.
willpower. I like to swap those out, especially for my business owners, entrepreneurs, systems, processes. Okay. It's a
Yes.
shift in the mindset of, oh,
Mm.
I have systems and processes for my business that operates at a high level, and I have SOPs that run and operate teams and different people, and I
I
have
love that.
meetings to organize and all these things and the structure, and I pay people in my business to do these things and manage these things and all this stuff. And I can't manage my own ability to drink water because I need to be disciplined or I need motivation or willpower. No,
Mm.
you just need a system that makes sense for you to enjoy getting that consumed by the end of the
Mm.
day. It's as simple as that. And that's again where through conversation, through engagement, interaction, and getting to know my clients that I have the power, the authority, and the little sneaky whatever, and get in there and I plant the seed. And then the whole time I'm just back here watering it by saying things. I love this saying. Maybe you will or won't know the answer, but the phrase, it's an age old one. You can lead a horse to water, but can't make it drink.
Yep.
How
Yep.
do you make it drink the water? That's a question for you. How do you make
Oh,
how
how
do
do
you
you
make the
oh, right.
horse
How
drink the water?
oh,
You can't force it.
why don't
It's horses
yeah,
can be
yeah,
stubborn.
my
And
I
this
was
is
gonna
great
say
because you have horses. This is
yeah,
perfect.
my horse. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if my horse doesn't want to drink, he's not going to drink. I'm smart enough. I know when I need to.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's probably like most
Right.
business owners. I'm smart enough. I need to, but actually, they do
Yep.
need the help because they don't
Yep.
know that there isn't another water trough in
Yes.
2
They
days.
don't know that they're actually thirsty. They
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they're hungry, but they're actually thirsty. Are you ready for the answer?
yeah. Go on,
This
please.
is good. This is good. You salt the oats that it eats before you take it to the water source.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. When you get the
Mm,
horse gets there, it's thirsty. Now,
yeah.
salting the oats is having conversations, is planting seeds, is interacting with the person and understanding their strengths, their weaknesses, their personality, their energy, their level of
Mhm.
engagement, even in that one session per se, or in the course of a week, depend on everything else that's going on in their life. From, yes, the business is important, but about how about them as a person? They have a family and they have their
Mm,
individual self that we need to be paying attention to. And mental health can range from go get them, type A, super crazy driven. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. Doesn't matter how I feel. I could be having the flu. I'm still getting up and working out, to the quite the opposite. And that's where, if you probably do really well too, is talking, engage, and say that's the reason why you experiential type processes with
yep.
your horses and stuff with teams to get them to, as you said, the horse will do what it wants and it'll get the person to realize and how
Yep.
to interact, because you can't strong arm a horse. It's hundreds of pounds more than you. It's going to do what it wants.
Yep.
But you got to work with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do
Yeah.
with my clients, is working with it and finding those seeds. And usually someone obviously comes to me ready to make a change, as they would to you. They're not just going
Cool.
to randomly show up unless they're ready for change. And then
Yeah.
we then salt the oats in a sense of, okay, here's the basics. All right, which one do we want to focus on first? Because that 1% incremental opportunity is really important in this whole process. Even with me right now, my 1% right now is to show up as the best Brian I can for Julia and listeners, so that they get a lot of value. Then ultimately I'll
Yep.
get value out of our engagement as well. And this is
Sure.
the
Yeah.
only thing that I should be doing and focus on right now in this particular moment. And that's my
Mm.
1% better, at least for the next however much longer we talk.
Yeah.
Right. so,
Yeah.
so
No,
there it
and
is.
I love this. I love the thought of actually just thinking about that sorting the oats, to go back to that analogy. That's just really
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it? How do you, because I love this systems and process, not discipline and
Right.
willpower, because I lose the will to live when I even think about those words, quite frankly. But actually, yeah,
Yes.
this what's the system you need to put in each and every day to ensure
Right.
that you're hydrated, that you're getting enough
Right.
sleep, that you're getting enough movement, and that you're eating the right
Right.
foods. And actually, when you think about that, it becomes, I don't know, as I naturally say that, I'm feeling myself going, oh, that's achievable. That's just another system and
Yeah.
process to put into the
Yeah, there
business.
we go. Right.
And yeah. Mm,
A simple system. So I have my water and I have my coffee right next to it. And I have my cute, adorable kitties. That's Jasper
yeah.
and Gerald there. We have 4 cats and a dog, thanks to COVID, our emotional support animal. So my coffee hack, or my water system, I drink the water, get a big gulp, and then I cheers, I sip the tea or the coffee, either or.
Oh, yeah.
And now I just drank 7, 8, 9 ounces of liquid, and I feel like I just drank coffee. And I've
Hmm.
snuck in water into that experience because my
Mm.
water is sitting right next to it. And this is just a story that I had from working with a personal training client. She'd always make me Kona coffee from Hawaii, French pressed and all. And it was amazing. It tastes good. And I'd drink 2 cups of it and I'd walk out all jittery and never drink any of the
Yeah.
water pitcher that she set right next to it. And then I realized, okay, rude, just not drinking any of the water, literally just leaving it sit there. So I would chug the water, sip the
Okay.
coffee, and then we'd tell her to do some more push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that became just this practical way to sneak more water in. Or I will take another example is I have this 40 ounces. I have a Soda Stream. It's a seltzer water maker and it'll put the
Yep.
CO2 inside the water and
Yep.
make it bubbly. It's 14 ounces. 14 ounces of that goes into the 40. Then the 26 ounces of regular water go in there. And now I have 40 ounces of lightly bubbled, sweetened water that
Mhm.
tastes way better than normal water. And it makes it way more enjoyable for me to consume the water and I can drink it a lot easier with less friction.
Yeah.
How do I remove friction? How do I, and it's just a simple thing about friction. And last thing we'll go on water is water to the body is like oil to a car. If
Yeah.
there isn't enough oil in a car, what happens? There's friction, there's heat, there's
Yeah.
ultimately a breakdown of pieces, parts, or the whole engine will seize.
Yep.
And that's your body. If you go into even 1% dehydration, you slow down your cognitive processes. And again, it goes to low hanging fruit. Like, why are you basically you're driving down the road, you you're on the highway and you just decide, well, I'm just gonna pull the car over and then you start getting out and I'm in the passenger seat because I'm the GPS unit in this
Yep.
experience as they drive on their health journey. He said, why are we slowing down right now? And why are we pulling off to the side of the highway? Why are you getting out? And they just go and they slash one of their tires and then they get back in and start driving like they're going to go 65 again. And they expect to go 65 because that's just the determination
Mhm.
of an entrepreneur, but they
Yep.
have physically limited themselves by taking one of the four wheels out of their car to be usable. And that's just as an example of water. So drink your
Yeah.
water.
I think, yeah. And just thinking about this whole, just expanding this out a bit to, as we bring this sort of a bit more to a close to the whole holistic thing,
Yeah.
it's a bit like, oh, how did I want to say it? I had a really great analogy just then that's just gone out of my mind, but it's just like we've got a responsibility, I think, to look after all the areas of our business effectively. And
Yes.
we are such an integral part of our business that we have to look after ourselves in the best way possible. And if we don't if we don't show up as the best version of ourselves, then I think we probably can't expect our business to show up as the best version of itself in the wider context. And yet there's so many business leaders that I see that are actively self-sabotaging their
Yeah.
success
Yep.
by not doing what we said, that these aren't difficult things to do,
They skip
but it's
lunch
for when.
and they have
Yeah.
no plan B. And
Mm.
then if I know, I remember this lady, she was a principal of a private school and she was the head, the very peak of all the responsibility, of course, of hundreds of 100 staff, of hundreds more students, of 1,000 parents and she's up at the top. And it just became very obvious that she always had to have a plan B or a plan C or even a plan
Mhm.
D. And we literally talked about plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D to make sure that she was equipped that no matter the situation that she'd already been through 100 times of trying to get a kid picked up with the parent and the parent's late because of work or traffic or whatever. And now she's late at dinner and she hasn't eaten since 11 and now it's 5 and she's really hungry. And of course she is. Like, why would you not be? And it's your fault for
Mhm.
not planning for this situation. And it's happened 100 times. This isn't new to her. And so we
Yeah.
figured out a plan B, and all of a sudden, oh, doesn't matter what's happening. I can still eat around 3 or 4, something small to hold me over till dinner. And then when I walk into the door into my own personal life, I can show up for myself, most importantly, but be there for my kids and my family and actually experience
Mm.
a personal life, not just something that's exhausted and just wants to sit on a couch staring at yet another screen all day and ignoring the experiences that are around them. And that's the true loss of self-sacrifice when it comes to the health, is that you're missing out on life on a multiple different levels because you won't just stop and have a sandwich and an apple for lunch. Something as simple as having a sandwich with 3, 4, 5 ounces of a protein on it, an apple or a banana or a pear, whatever, and some vegetables. So cut up pepper, carrots, something that would take 3 minutes to pack, 3 minutes to eat, and you will have energy for 3, 4 hours. And you could do that every day of the week, the rest of your life, and be healthy and fit and take care of yourself,
Yeah.
not have to worry about weight, and then show up at
And
home because you have energy.
so I'm just curious, do you recommend to your clients that they like plan their meals through? We talked about timing of meals, but they physically plan what they are going to have at each meal. Because I know, like, I just wing it. I'm like, oh, what's in?
Sure.
I'll have this and this.
Good
And
question.
and as I'm saying that, I'm thinking we're planning our business, we plan our budgets, we plan our workflows.
Right.
And yeah, I don't
Right.
plan
You've
what I
just got
eat.
yourself in
That's kind of
conundrum.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huh. But let's go back to, it's because I've done this so long. It's not about what you're eating right
Mm.
now in this specific moment. Okay. I gave you a system of how to think about food in a way that you can manage into your everyday life, that you can
Yeah.
have flexibility, moderation, balance. I didn't tell you specifically what to eat, but I gave you a
No.
lot of structure. Here's how many general calories you should roughly be eating. Here's generally how many times in the day and the general amount of time, of sometime before 10:30, sometime around noon, 1, 2, sometime around 3, 4, sometime around 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And those are the general 3 or 4 times that most people are going to eat throughout the day. Then I said how we build our meals. We're going to have a protein, we're going to have a fibrous carb category, that vegetable or food, the low calorie kinds. And then we're going to have a starchy
Yeah.
carb that are the higher calorie foods, but we have to portion this. And then I gave you portions for each of those. And I
Yeah.
defined what some of those were of lean protein sources. Think of, in quotation, salad topper type, broccoli and carrots and
Yeah.
cucumber and all that. You could rewind to that, or an apple, and then have starch and a portion. So I gave you a framework on
Yeah.
how to approach nutrition in a way that you can make fit for you, because there's no meal plan. There's no right way to do it. I've had thousands of clients through the years, and the framework is what creates long-term success, not this meal plan that that you're supposed to follow, because we've been doing that since the 1980s and doesn't
Yeah.
work. We're fatter than ever.
Yeah.
It's not what we
Yeah.
need. We need a process or a system or a different way to think about how we pick food initially, of looking at nutrition labels and being able to
Yeah.
understand that. Or even talking about one more thing with business is, everyone understands the financial and economics of their country.
Yeah.
We have dollars and cents, and you have euros
Yeah.
and pounds and all that. And we understand how to spend money and stuff and understand that context, but we don't understand the currency of food. The currency of food is
Yeah.
just calories, protein, carbs, and fats. That's all that it is. And once you understand that, then it's like seeing through the movie Matrix, of you're beyond what is around you, and you're, oh, you mean that if I have more of this thing at this time of the day, and I can just have a little less of that thing later in the day, and I'll still get to the end of the day hitting my budget. So example being, I have $100 to spend. If you spend $100 today, you'll wake up tomorrow all good. You spend 120 today, you're getting charged
Yeah.
interest tomorrow. And that interest is either you only do $80 tomorrow, or you're going to start to pay interest. And that interest adds up into, say, credit card debt. And with
Yeah.
calories, if you have in quotations, $100 to spend today, then you'll wake up tomorrow all good. Does it matter when you spend it in the day?
Yeah.
No. But as long as you get to the end of the day and you spent the $100, so to speak. But if you do $120, then tomorrow you have to do 80, or you have to move more to burn
Yeah.
more calories, or you just get lost and you end up doing 120 anyways. And now we have calorie debt. And calorie debt
Yep.
costs a lot of time, energy, and effort to get
Yep.
off. Try to lose 20 pounds, it could take you 10 to 20 weeks of time to lose 20 pounds. And
Yeah.
that's a reasonable amount of time to expect 20 pounds to come off of your body. Whereas you want it gone in the next week, that's not the reality of how you pay down calorie debt in a sense.
Yep.
Is just as you would do credit card debt, you couldn't pay off $50,000 in a time unless you hit the lottery, but most of us
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
never going to win the lottery, and you have to earn that money and do it in a way that you could then pay off the debt to then be debt free and hopefully learn not to put the 20 pounds back on because of systems and processes that you have gone through to experience creating a better, healthier lifestyle and operating system of how you eat. There you go.
Excellent. Wow. Yeah. I loved all that. Brian, I'm just really conscious of where we are on time because
Yeah.
we've been chatting now for about 40 minutes. I know that you had some resources that you were very going to share with the listeners. So perhaps you could just tell them what they are, and I'll put some links in the show notes for everyone so you can hold them.
Wonderful. This has been a blast so far. Hopefully people have understood how to salt the oats for themselves to be more, in quotations, motivated or have more willpower to take better care of themselves. But at the end of the day, it goes back to the why. Why do you want to have a business is probably the exact same reason why you'd want to take care of your health every single day, because life is a journey. You're not guaranteed. The destination might not go as far as you want, and you might be holding out for something that's never going to happen, and you just don't know, because that's the reality of our life that we live in. So the journey is life is the journey, not the destination, and you need to take care of yourself today so that you have energy and bandwidth and ability to feel good about yourself. Most importantly, take care of those closest around you, your family, your friends, that close-knit social circle, and then your business to take care of that as well. All right, so there's that. Probably the best resource I would say is 30 tips in 30 days. Easy, actionable tips and tricks that you can implement into your everyday life, because people don't need more complexity. They need simplicity. They need something to make it easier for them to be successful. And I always say in the 30 tips, they are so easy. You'll read it and oh yeah, I know how to do this, but I'm not doing it. No, so therefore, do I actually know if I'm doing it or not? Right? But even if you only picked out 10 or 15, that's going to be that 1% better, that in 15, 30, 45 days later, you're going to feel a lot better. There's tips around activities, around nutrition, around lifestyle, sleep, all sorts of things that I tell people every day that pay me a lot of money to remind them that they should sleep more or drink more water.
And so where can people get those? Are those on your website, Brian?
Yeah, I'll give you the link there. It's a little long to say here, but we'll leave it in the show notes.
Okay, fabulous.
Very simple.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for joining me today. I think you've really reminded us that energy is our greatest currency as leaders.
Yes.
And we can't pour from that empty cup. We can't expect our team to bring energy if we don't embody it ourselves.
Right.
So for everyone listening, some of your reflections for the week are, where are you leaking energy in your business? And what's the one small habit that you could do to restore this, thinking about your health and your vitality within your business? Because the truth is, sustainable performance starts with sustainable leadership, right? And your health isn't a separate issue from your success. It's actually the foundation of it. Those would be some of my parting thoughts for everyone this week. So, Brian, once again, thank you so much for your time and energy
this
and
is so much
sharing
fun.
your wisdom with everyone today. And everyone will catch you again on the next episode. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Impactful Teamwork Podcast. Please stay tuned for future episodes and do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating on your favorite platform.
Recommendations are essential for attracting new listeners. Please follow us on social media at Julia Felton and at Business Horsepower. And if there are any topics you'd like us to cover on future episodes, please do let me know. Remember, you and your team are always making an impact. What impact will you make today?